Alright everyone, so first what I'm showing you right now, what's happening right now, and this is, I know that some of you in the room, hi Lenora, some of you in the room have the Atlas Line software, and so what you see happening on my chart should be exactly what you have on your chart. Okay, there should be nothing different about what we're seeing. The entry for the Atlas Line as of this morning is 1340, right? Now it is a huge distance from here to here from the Atlas Line. So to me it's a much more riskier trade, because usually when it's moved that much we could have some type of consolidation. It could start to slow down a little bit and even reverse. So the idea of using the Atlas Line is to get in as close as we can here to the beginning of the Atlas Line here, when it's as close as possible, and then ride it up. Okay, so as you know, I try to be a little bit more conservative with trading when it comes to these things, and I see that this is a big distance. So how do I know that it's a big distance or not? Well, I always look at the current market conditions to tell me what's happening. So I'm going to put on my trusty average true range here, ATR, which is right here, I'm using a setting of 4 or 5, and we see here that this is roughly about 2.5 points. Okay, so 2.5 points tells me that if I double that value to 5 points, really I don't want to enter with this original double bar long trade more than 5 points away from the Atlas Line. So if I look at this here, 1332.50, 1340, now we have a little bit of a problem. It is more than 5 points, just about 5 points, and so just be very careful when entering that far away. Usually the term is overbought, oversold, or overextended, or any of those reasons that traders use. I just don't want to enter potentially when this move could be already over. That's the first thing. Hi Priscilla, Edward, GW, glad you can join us. Giscard. So the next thing is the follow-up trades. You see here these S's and these P's. These are what I consider strength and pullback trades. And if the move continues, right? If the move continues, then by all means take these additional trades. All this means is that we're above the Atlas Line, and I want to continue taking long positions, but I have to do it right. I just can't jump in any old place. Let's look for these strength and pullback trades specifically. Okay, so what do we have happening? We have here a pullback trade to go along there, and we have a strength trade that you saw pop up right there. So two great opportunities to go long in case you were a little squeamish about entering so far away from the Atlas Line at this point. All right. Hey Nick, so if you guys have any questions, you don't have to wait till the end. I try to address all questions as they happen, so we tackle them right away. Nick says here, would you take the strength right after the pullback? Yes, I would, and I would still use the pivotal stop, Nick. I would still take the pivotal stop based off of whichever one that you're using. So yes, I would. Okay. All right. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you today is that for NinjaTrader, as you know, I like NinjaTrader. Not to say that any other charting platform isn't good, but I like NinjaTrader. And so there's an indicator that I had updated, and it's called the DayTradeToWin news indicator, and it's free and it's available on the website, on the DayTradeToWin website. Let me just find it here. DayTradeToWin news right there. So when I add this here to the chart, it tells me what the news events are coming up and it actually updates automatically. And so if you haven't done so already, go ahead and visit DayTradeToWin.com. Chad, if you can give me that link, I'll put it here in the room for everybody. It's free, and let me just give you a heads up on what it does. Right now I only have set to 5 news events, but I can set it to 10 if I wanted to, and I can show US or European news events. Right now I only have US news events, and I only have high priority, but if I wanted to see everything, this is what it would look like. So for right now, all we have is July 13th, the FOMC for Lockhart speaking. Okay. Not on the open eCry, Abby. The news indicator that you see in the chart that updates automatically as it just put it on and it just updates. It's only available for NinjaTrader. And the Atlas line that you see right here is only available for TradeStation, NinjaTrader, and eSignal as well. eSignal, TradeStation, and NinjaTrader. Okay, so not OpenECry, OEC. All right. So if you're feeling a little bit gung-ho this morning, 1340 long. If you waited and being a little bit more conservative and saying, you know what, it's this far away from the Atlas line, let me wait and see if this continues, you had a follow-up pullback trade and a follow-up strength trade, and we may get another to the long side strength trade or pullback trade as well as we move forward. You got it, Abby. So what I teach at DayTradeToWin, for those of you who are mentorship students and current Atlas line users, you have the same exact orders as I have here. But for the new traders, what I try to do is I try to eliminate the need to be subjective. I try to be as objective as possible. I want to look at a specific entry. I want to have a specific stop. And more importantly, I want to know why I'm doing what I'm doing. What's the reason for going long? Or what's the reason for my stops? This is very important to know prior to entering into a trade. So as far as what I teach at DayTradeToWin.com, I'm trying to be as objective and to know in advance each order and how to manage it prior to it happening. All right? Now, if you look at how I trade the news, I have a great video that's out, and let me just put this here in the chat room here. Here's the link in case you missed it. I had a blog post on it, but here is a link to download this news indicator right here. And if you want to see, let's see if we have any European news events. For those of you trading in Europe, you may want to see, let's take a look here. Okay, so I don't have anything happening within the next couple of days as far as a low priority or high priority for both US and European. So all I have here is July 13th, the FOMC at 120. It's a medium impact. I'm not too concerned about it. I'm more concerned about the red or high impact news events. Okay, so this is actually a very cool little indicator that stays on your chart and it helps you. You don't have to go to Bloomberg or Forex Factory to find out when these things are happening. Please enjoy it and download it. All right, let's talk a little bit about what's to come into the future of the remainder of 2012. I put a blog post out, and Chad, I don't know if you could do me a favor and locate that for me, where it was in January, where I talked about the January effect, okay? And the January effect with trading the markets, and I would have to say that this is pretty much across the board with any market, but my expertise is really on the US financials. That says that if we have a higher close than open month, the first month of the year, with a very high accuracy, it will mean that the year will close higher. Okay, so it's called the January effect. This is what we used to analyze things like this to dictate longer term positions. And if we have on January 31st an up month, higher close and open, then I expect December to come along, 2012, and exiting my positions, I am at a higher level. Okay, so what happened? If you look back when we had a close of January's pricing, we were at 12 something, I believe it was. And the market rallied up to 1400, and now it's pretty much at 1350, 1345. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, great opportunity to go long every time it dips below the January close and comes back above the January close. Great opportunity to go long because the January effect is very strong. And so if you're thinking about going long, maybe for a longer term position, not everybody here is only a day trader, think about going long and holding it, whether it be a EFT or a futures or a stock of some sort. But I guarantee, and it hasn't been wrong, so guarantees are very hard to come by, but we will have a much higher close towards the end of the year, especially with the elections coming up. And I wait to see it happen. Let me see if I have that blog post. Yep, it's a prediction blog post here, right over here. Okay, so this is done on January 30th, 2012, and you can look at that, read it when you have an opportunity to see if you would have been able to capitalize on something out of this January prediction. Okay. Now we may have another long position. So right now this is setting up for a possible pullback trade, and the software will give you an alert to tell you it's time to go long again for the Atlas line. Now a lot of traders are skeptical about software and looking at how software works in the current trading environment. So I always like to look at the current day to show you what's happening with the Atlas line. But more importantly, I want to show you a few days worth of using the Atlas line for those of you who don't have it. And I try to post on a regular basis all of the results on the website to show you what the entries were, at what time they happened. And so those of you who have the Atlas line, you can go ahead and check to see if everything is corresponding properly, all right, with the same orders that I receive that you are getting as well. So if you look at right now where we are, we have a long, and I'm holding a long biased until something changes. Okay, international traders, I'm not a big fan of overnight trading, but let me add a second Atlas line here to the chart, and instead of starting it at the US session open, let's start at the London open. So here is the London open as you see it. I'm sleeping at 3 o'clock in the morning, obviously, but for Australian traders and European traders, and maybe for the night owls here in the States, if you want to take an opportunity to go long or short, just make sure there's enough action overnight in any market on the off hours, make it worth your while. The way that I do it is I look at the ATR, the average true range, and I say to myself, if it's under 1 point or 4 ticks, it's worthless. Okay? The market is choppy, whipsaw, channeling. You should always know when to stay out and when to take an opportunity. It's not worth trading when the market is slow. I have a under 4 tick rule that says if the market's trading less than 4 ticks, which on the E-mini is 1 point, right? On currencies it would be considered 4 ticks, then it's choppy. Okay, so If you're going to take a long position, you can take the long position right here to go long. If you wanted to take this short over here, if you look straight down, you see that? It is under 1 point. What that means is whipsaw and chop. If you want to go short, right, there's a short entry. If I look down, if we are above 1 point, that means I can take a point or point and a half on the trade, depending on what this ATR value is. And I teach all of this as well with every Atlas line user. It's worth taking the trade, but it's not worth taking the trade when it's this slow. Okay, Abby, the P's and the S's signify strength and pullback trades. So if the market continues to stay above the Atlas line, you're going to get these pullback and strength trades. These are additional trades to tell you to go long. Okay, and the entry is the close of the third P or the close of the third S because it's a pattern. David says, what about the notes and the bonds? The notes and the bonds are a little bit different, right? They work in 64s, 32s, things like that. They flip-flop back and forth until they make up their mind. I would use not a specific value, but I would use ticks. So anything less than 4 ticks, 3 or 4 ticks, I would say. Look at the scaling, right? This is actually in points, but in the scaling would be in ticks, in currencies, in Forex, in notes and bonds. They have it calculated in ticks. So I would say 3 or 4 ticks. Anything under 3 or 4 ticks is not worth it. All right, so this is overnight yesterday, or overnight. And I'll show you the, Stefan, you want to see gold and crude. Be happy to show you gold and crude or any market that you want to see. I'll be happy to pull it up for you. Before I do, though, I'm going to show you yesterday. Okay, yesterday on the E-mini S&P, we have a short here, and we have a long. We have the follow-up short trades, and then we have the follow-up long trades. So every time you see these S's, this is dignifying strength trade to go long there. I'll expand this for you here a little bit. To go long here, close this candle, go long, oops, right there, right there, and so on. So you guys who have the Atlas line have these same orders, okay? Okay, this was July 12th. Let's look at the day before that. The day before that was July 11th, right? July 11th, we have a long trade here. We have a short here that didn't work out. We have a long trade here. Another long trade right here, here. Long trade here, short trade here. A lot of trades. This day is actually FOMC. And anytime you have an FOMC, just as a rule of thumb, anytime you have an FOMC or an afternoon news event that is a high priority red star, okay, usually I want you to think of it like a options expiration Friday or a witches Friday, because you're going to get a lot of chop. And this is exactly what we see here. Nothing new about waiting for the FOMC to come out with a report, and when the report comes out, this is the result. So leading up to this FOMC, and actually let me show you here in case you want to see, on July 11th, there's the FOMC right there. So as a rule of thumb, guys, remember, FOMC days, a lot of chop and whipsaw or channeling, which means you can actually maybe surf a channel or channel trade, any of that kind of stuff, leading up to it, because it's very typical that nobody knows what to do until they release some type of news or report. Okay, so that's it right there on July 11th, Wednesday, and that's exactly what we have. Okay, this is July 11th. Let's take a look at the day before that. Day before that, July 10th. Had a long trade that did not work. First trade of the day failed. And then you had follow-up short trade when it crossed the Atlas line to go short. Pullback, strength, strength, pullback, all of these trades were, in the most part, profitable. And if you want to look at one more day here, I'm just scrolling back. I'm not picking and choosing days. Here is July 9th. July 9th is, as you can see, a short. I think it's too far away, personally, out of my comfort zone, but it was a good trade. You have a follow-up strength trade, pullbacks, and that was it for July 9th. Okay, I go back to July 8th. Here's July 8th, short, all these strength and pullback trades as you see them. A little bit of a mess over here. Absolutely, can't do anything about that. After a chop, we got a short, we got a long, and then we got some strength there. This one is actually too late to trade in my opinion, but the double bar long trade was good. Okay. Let's take a look at, Jeff, you want to see the mini Russell? You want to see the Euro? Okay. Let me start off with, I think it was Stefan who wanted to see crude and gold, right? Let's take a look here at crude oil. I think it's the August. Okay. So here's crude oil. Crude oil starts at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard, not at 9:30. So let me change the market open parameter. And by the way, the back end of the Atlas line, as you see it, does not have any type of parameter that's linked to it. And what that means is that there is no new, or I should say there's no optimization, okay? A lot of indicators and systems, they're completely optimized to the T, where it doesn't make sense to trade. Anything in history looks great, but moving forward in time, an optimized system will not work. And so one of the things that the Atlas line is very good at, it only looks at the current market and what it has done in the past without linking any type of moving average or Keltner chart or Bollinger Band or MACD or anything out there, stochastic. It has no indicator attached to it. It's really based off of price action and the current market conditions. So just as a, by the way, so let me click apply here. Let me click OK. This is crude oil. Stefan, I think it was, right? I wasn't looking at crude this morning, but there's the long. And you know why, Stefan, that's a long trade there? I mean, I want you to understand the reason behind it. I have a lot of videos out there, probably hundreds of videos. The reason why this is a long, and you could say picking bottoms, right? Right? I'm not picking a bottom, right? What I'm doing is looking at how price reacts around the Atlas line. The reason for this entry is actually very simple. 2 consecutive closings above or below the Atlas line is the entry. All right? There's no mystery, right? I try not to confuse you guys. I want to make this as simple as possible. So what that means is that this and this are 2 consecutive closings that plot above the Atlas line. The entry is always the closing price of the second candle. So the closing price of this second candle here is 86.23. You know what that value is? 86.23. All right, so what's the reason behind entering long? It's not based on any pivots or anything, support and resistance. It is basically 2 consecutive closings that plot either above or below the Atlas line that trigger a signal to go long or short. Bar color does not matter, Victor. The stop on it, Jonathan, would be if you're looking at well, there's 3 stops actually. So I don't have a hard stop, a be all, end all stop. I teach 3 stops. First, we're looking at a prove it stop. Prove it stop is basically a close in the opposite direction. So if we have a closing candle that closes on the opposite side of the atlas line, so in this case I want to go long, the first candle that closes below the atlas line, I'm out. That's called a prove it stop. The next thing is a time-based stop. I believe that traders hold on to losing trades for far too long. If it's not going to work when we enter within a certain amount of time, what makes you think that it's going to work 3 hours from now? You're just holding on to a losing position. Cut it loose, get out of it, have a max time that you're willing to stay in this trade to see a profit. Okay, and usually for me, that's 4 to 5 bars that tell me I'm no longer interested in holding on to this trade past 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It's just not worth it. We're going nowhere. I rather look for another trade, and wherever it may be, either a break even, small win, or small loss, I'm out of the trade. And if you use that rule alone, it will by far help you manage the losses. Okay? The other stop that I use is a catastrophic stop, and obviously anytime we enter to the market, we have to have some type of catastrophic stop. There could be a earthquake or catastrophe in the world that is not a news event. So I have these news events here. If you download that news indicator for Ninja, you'll have them alerted. But let's say there's an earthquake somewhere in the world where we don't know. Obviously we don't know what's going to hit. The market goes crazy. You have to have a catastrophic stop there. So those are the 3 stops that I use. And I also use a pivotal stop for the strength and pullback trades. Okay. I still use a 4 or 5 in the ATR, David, for the crude oil, and I still use it by ticks. Okay, so if it's too slow to trade as far as tick wise, just look over here. 4 ticks, it's too slow to trade. Okay, Dave. To get the news indicator, guys, those of you who are asking, here's the download page. It's free. Okay, and it updates automatically. You can choose U.S. news or not. Okay, so this is for the crude oil. Let's take a look at the gold. Gold is right there, and I believe gold starts at 820. Stefan, if you can just correct me on that. On what time gold starts, so I can adjust it if it's not at 9 o'clock, and I'll change it to show you what happened in gold. This is the gold chart, okay, with a 9 o'clock market open. Okay, it's the only Jesus indicator that I use. Okay, all right, JJ, I put it in there for you. Okay. Some other questions I have here. I want to make sure I get everybody. E-mini Russell. Okay, I'll put up the Russell. Jeff, for you, and I'll put up a Euro chart. Abby, hopefully I answered your question on stops. I use 3 stops, and the stops are all dynamic as well. Okay. The only discretion that I use, Dave, for the Atlas line is how far away with the initial long or short. Okay, let me go to a Russell TF, I believe it is there, and I do have to change it to 930. So once it comes on here, change this to 930. Yeah, all right. Now this is the Russell right here. Okay, Victor, with pullback and strength trades, I'm going for a smaller profit target. I'm only going for 4 ticks or a point. Obviously, if the market's more volatile, I'll take more than 4 ticks, but for the most part, keep it to a very small pullback and strength trade, just to 4 ticks. All right. Those of you who are asking about the new news indicator, you can download it here. I put the link there in the room as well. It's free. Enjoy it. Victor, for the Atlas line, it's TradeStation, eSignal, and NinjaTrader. Okay. NinjaTrader is my preferred program, but TradeStation and eSignal is available as well. For the stops, Abhi, you're asking about stops. For the stops for the strength and pullback trade, let's be honest, I can't have a prove it stop all the way down here. It's too far away, right? Especially if I'm just going for the 4 ticks. So you guys want to learn what a pivotal stop is? Who has ever heard me speak about a pivotal stop? Anyone? All right, Dave. Dave, you have the Atlas line, right? Rob? All right. Okay. Okay. Let's think about this for a moment. If the market does a move where it goes down and then goes up, think of this as a pivotal point that tells me something is about to happen. Market goes down, market goes up. I want you to think of this as a pivot. If the market goes below this pivot, it means that it's not ready to go up. All right? You should be out of it. So let's take a look at the strength trade or the pullback trade. These aren't the perfect examples. Let me go to the E-mini, see if I have a better example to show you on the E-mini or the Euro. We go to the Euro. Somebody asked for a Euro chart. We have a pullback. We have it returning back to the direction, right? Just like that. Think of this going down and then this coming back up, okay? Where it pivoted back up should be a pivotal point, okay? Should be a pivotal point. So what I want you to think about what a pivotal stop is you see this here starts off the pullback. This candle readdresses the candle to go back up. So this down here is a pivotal stop. What I like to do is I like to add 2 ticks to the lowest low, like that. So going long here on this pullback trade, we have the 3 P's here, pullback trade, and I could, with the Atlas line, I can turn that on or off here. Trade pullback and strength trade. So I'll just put on the pullback trades to show you. So all I'm showing you is the pullback trades, not the strength trades. If going long here, and if it goes against you and it hits 2 ticks below that, you're out of the trade. You're finished with it. It's a pivotal stop. So the idea here is that we're above the Atlas line. Atlas line is this dotted line right here. And I want to go long, and I want to manage it. And I also use a time-based stop as well on this trade. So it's a time-based stop and a pivotal stop. Whichever happens first, you're out of the trade. I got my 4 ticks. Now, if you want to look at the strength trades, I'll put on the strength trades and I'll turn off the trade pullbacks. Right? Okay to that. So now all I'm showing you is the strength trade. Same situation. I'm going to use the lowest low of the strength pattern, which is right here. 2 ticks below that, which actually is the same stop. That's my pivotal stop. Again, another 4 ticks. So that is, I guess, the answer. Forgot who was Abi Cha. Those are the stops. All right, for the pivot. That's how I calculate the pivotal stop. So there's a combination of stops. Whichever happens first, I like to use. You have to be diversified as a trader. You just can't say, I'm going to have a 5-point stop and that's it, and let me wait until it hits. I can't have it be that way. I much rather say it's taking forever or too long, more than the time-based stop, I'm out of the trade. Here's my prove it stop, I'm out of the trade. Here's my pivotal stop, I'm out of the trade. Good. Okay, good. All right. I try to keep the records for the strength and pullback trades. The strength trades, David, are a little bit more riskier than the pullback trades, and the reason being is because they are you're entering actually higher after the move has begun already. So a pullback trade here, you'd enter here. A strength trade, you're waiting for some strength to follow up. So I prefer the pullback over the strength trades, right? All right, very good. So this is the entry. I think who asked me this question here? Jesus. The entry was 1340, and then we have strength here and pullback trades. All right, is there any markets that you want to see? I believe that the euro doesn't want to cooperate. Let me just try the euro here one more time. All right, good. All right, so here's the euro chart. I forgot who asked me for the euro. Here's the euro. 22.39, 22.51, short, and right now it's just hovering here. If this candle right here closes where it is below the Atlas line, you're going to see another order to go short right there. So that's the euro. All right, so a few things that I want to mention. First is use a grouping of stops. Don't always use, or just don't only use one stop whenever you trade, because it's not going to, this is a pullback trade. Let me show you. Let me turn it on. You're going to see a pullback trade appear here because I have it turned off. I turned it back on. Right there, okay? First, be dynamic. As a trader, you have to be dynamic. You just can't have one stop. Have time-based stop, have something that shows you proof, as well as something that's catastrophic. Now, I do teach this and so many other things in a mentorship program that I have. There's a new class starting in July. I think it's July 25th, right, Chad? Yes. Yep, July 25th. We have a few traders already signed up. I try to keep the classes small, and it's 8 weeks with me, which goes into September. Everything is recorded. All the software, Atlas line, roadmap software, everything is included with the mentorship program. And let me give you the link for that. Chad, do you have the link I can put in the room in case you want to find out more for the mentorship program? And you can find out all about it. Thank you, Chad. Right there. Okay, so there's a special going on right now. It's a class session. There'll be a few traders in the room, but what you get out of it is so much more than what you see here. But the Atlas line lifetime licenses are included, the at the open, the X5 trade, the blueprint trade, the roadmap method, 2 scalping methods, and everything is recorded for you. So it's actually a very good program, and if you have any questions on it, you can contact me, or you can visit that link there. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate that. Sure, Maurice. Absolutely. You don't have to be an experienced trader. Everything that I'm showing you here is not overly complicated. And what a lot of traders come to me with is a grouping of indicators and time frames. I have a student that I'm working with right now that his normal chart is a 60-minute, a 30-minute, a 15-minute, a 10-minute, a 5-minute, a 1-minute, and then he has 3 or 4 moving averages on it, plus an MACD, plus a stochastic, plus, I mean, the chart looks like a circus act. I'm not trying to locate the holy grail of 10,000 things, and then when everything aligns, I'm in. It's not the case at all. Did you know that, let me see, give you a good example here. Let me show you something. Okay. Did you know that in the mentorship program, Rob, I think you would attest to this. Look at this chart, Rob. and tell me where the roadmap would be where the market would reverse. Right? This is yesterday. Right, Nick? Tell me where you would think about the market reversing at this here. If you knew ahead of time when the manipulation happens, you would be so far ahead of everyone else that you would be amazed. And one of the things that I teach is a roadmap that tells me the market reverses at certain areas that are manipulated, completely manipulated, where really you wouldn't have believed it if you saw it. And now, I don't want to pick highs and lows. I don't want to do anything like that. But I do want to tell you that if you wanted to go short the market, and all of your moving averages told you to go short right here, then I would definitely say to you, you're in trouble. And if you know that this is going to happen before it happens, then you know that there's a huge amount of manipulation reversing on the market. And if you know this happens before it happens, you would say, I'm not going short. I mean, if you think about it, what would stop this market from reversing? All your moving averages, right, Francis, are telling you short. Momentum is short. Everything is telling you short. What would stop you from going short there? You don't know, because it's a manipulated move that stops the market in its tracks. Big money does this, and I would say to you, don't go short. Instead look for a long to occur after this happens. And this is what I call the roadmap, and it's actually very, very accurate. Anyone want to see any specific charts, anything? Let's take a look at what's happening right now. There we are. Friday, it's going to be a slow day moving forward. Usually the first 2.5 hours are the best to trade. Friday we have coming up, I would say, unless this starts to move or go somewhere, the day is going to be a slow dwindling day. Okay. Gold, yeah, absolutely. Gold, right there. Is this the gold contract that you trade? Here, I'll put on here's gold, and gold starts at I don't think it's 9 o'clock. I think gold starts at 8:20. If I'm not mistaken, it's at 8:20. If I'm wrong, let me know, but I think it's at 8:20. Yeah, 8:20, right. Thanks, Dave. Okay, so this is gold for today. The gold chart. Okay, so that's the gold for today. Okay, does it work with stocks? I think there was a question here about stocks. You know, the Atlas line needs 24 hours to plot. So if the stock you're looking at is 24 hours, then it works. But if it's not a 24-hour stock, then it won't work. My recommended broker, Maria, is either Global Futures or Optimus Futures. They both have great service and good rates. Check them both out and speak with them before making a decision on your broker. They both offer NinjaTrader, and I like them both. All right. ETFs, Alan, I haven't. Is the ETF you're looking at, Alan, 24 hours? If it's 24 hours, it works. If it's not 24 hours, then it won't work. Okay. UVXY, I don't know that ETF, and if I can pull it up on NinjaTrader, or send me an email, I'll make sure it's working before you decide to purchase it, order it. Okay. Apple, you know, I'm not a big stock guy. I have to look at the chart, Abicha, so I can't tell you either way. I think as a sector as a whole, the market will close higher than for the year ending than then it won't go down. I definitely don't think the market will go down. I think the market will be much higher than we are right now towards the end of the year. If it's not 24 hours, Elaine, then it's not going to work. Maria, you can learn this. I mean, there's about an hour and a half training session that I do with everyone. So the idea is not to provide you software, but the idea is to definitely provide you with the tools needed for you to trade. That means you have to have training on it. You just can't, take it and say, let me follow the signals. I want you to understand the entries. I want you to know how this works. So the idea is for any course that you purchase, I want to have a training session with you, making sure that you're clear, you understand, you get to ask your questions, and we're on the same page. So it's definitely and it's recorded for you as well. You have your own video account, and I record all the training. It's put on your own personal account, video account for members, and it's a definite plus to have that as a backup for you. So it doesn't take a long time, but I do want you to practice. I don't want you to jump into it, right? Mistakes cost money. I'd rather you practice it, understand it, look at it, and then when you're ready, you can go live. Victor, if you're calling the number, the 888, you can always call us here at 888-607-00008. Nate is on the phone right now with somebody else. Leave a message, Victor, or email us and we'll call you right back. Okay? He's on the phone right now. Giscard, there's not an ebook that comes with the Atlas line. It's just the training and the software, and you have me. If you have any questions, the guys here in the room can attest that I answer every question myself that you have. So this is a way that you can get your answers right away, not just by an ebook. So no, there's no ebook, but there is a training and it's recorded for you. It's about an hour and a half or so. Maria, the time of day of the class, I try to make it either after the market or during market hours. And the classes are happening probably once a week for the Atlas line. So if you miss a class or you get with me and say, I can't make it on Friday, I can make it on Tuesday, I'll definitely work with your schedule. So definitely I'm flexible with the hours. Also for the mentorship class, if you're asking Maria about the mentorship class training, it depends on what part of the world the students are in. And I'll tell you the reason. I had a mentorship class recently where everyone was from Asia or from that part of the world. There was an Australian trader, there was a trader from Singapore, from Hong Kong in there. It was a small group, but ironically enough, they were all from, in my terms, the other part of the world. So obviously I couldn't hold a class at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard New York time because it is very early in the morning for them, 4 or 5 in the morning, and so I had to change the class. So the mentorship class, I try to make it accommodating to everyone. So if I have another group of traders that are all international, and obviously 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, it's not going to work, I will change the times. But typically, I like to do it right as the market closing because I'm not trading at that time, or at early in the morning as the market opens, 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning when the market opens to see what's happening and to give you a good representation of what's to do, what we're going to happen, what are we doing, how do we trade this, and so forth. So it should be either at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard for the mentorship class or 9:30 right as the market opens. Maria, okay? Jesus, I personally love to trade only the first 2.5 to 3 hours. So the first 2.5 to 3 hours in any market is where I am in any market. So if you're trading the London Open, it would still be the first 2.5 to 3 hours with the London Open start. With the US market, the same thing. That's what I recommend. And if anyone has any additional questions, feel free to email me or call. You can use the limited offer coupon code there to purchase any of the products, and I've actually removed some of the products off of the site, like the at the open method and the price action scalping. I'm reserving that only for the mentorship students as well. Dave, I have to say that I like the E-mini market. Gold and crude I look at, but they are a little bit on the wild side since I trade heavy. I don't like to go in with 15 or 20 contracts on a gold or crude because it's very heavy. I stick to what I know, and I'm much more comfortable with the U.S. financials, maybe a currency like Australian dollar. I do not like the Japanese yen or the British pound. I like the Swiss franc. I like the Eurostoxx 50, which is FESX. I also like the Australian dollar, FESX, the dollar index, DX, trade at the NYMEX. Those are my favorites. But I really try to not do everything at once. Concentrate on one or two markets at a time because, as you know, mistakes do happen if you try to do everything at once. Oh, I'm sorry, JR. Let me ask you, you have a question here. Asking for a third time, thoughts on range bars versus minute bars. Okay, real quick here. Range bars. In theory, it makes sense, right? There's a range, the range of whatever you want, 3 points, 2 points, or ticks, 10 ticks, 12 ticks, and then it moves to a new bar once that range is penetrated. So in theory, it works, or sounds good. But in reality, range bars don't work because you can't look back in history at a range chart and get accurate information to see what happened. It's always adjusted in some way where the data is not relevant of what actually happened. So you can look back in history at a range bar and you can say, wow, look at that, it was all green or all red, and look at what could have happened. But the truth of it is a range chart is very difficult to trade because into the future, there's a lot of whipsaw unless there's a big move up or down. So you're stuck in that whipsaw before it decides to do something and you understand what's happening. So range bars are not my cup of tea. Minute bars, on the other hand, I like. Do you know why the 5-minute chart is the best chart to trade? And you guys that are here that know me probably heard me speak about this already. So tell me why. Why is the 5-minute chart the best chart to trade? The 5-minute chart is a derivative of everything. You guys are almost there, right? Are almost there. Is a derivative of all the default charts that you see. So you see here 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 60 minute. They're all divisible by 5. And so if a move is going to happen on a 60-minute chart, the 5-minute chart gets you there. If a move is going to happen on a 30-minute chart, the 5 minutes is going to get you. The same thing with the 15, the 10, the 5, even the 1, and the 2, right? If you want to divide 30 divided by 2 is 15, derivative of 5, and the 3-minute. So, in my opinion, a 5-minute chart, there's not a lot of traders trading a 12.5-minute chart out there. When the move is about to happen, and you probably noticed this as well, okay? That's right, Maria. You can see patterns more visible. It's fractional. That's right. All those answers are correct, guys. All those answers are correct. All right. Most commonly used. I would say it may not be the most commonly used, but when the move happens, think about looking at as soon as a 10-minute bar closes, the market jumps, or as soon as a 30-minute candle closes, the market jumps either long or short. Sometimes you can't even get in because it jumps like a gap. That's because all of the systems are kicking in and they're calculating, okay, something happened, whether it was positive or negative, and then boom, it all kicks in and they happen at the end of a 5-minute derivative. That's the reason why I look at a 5-minute chart. A 1-minute chart I think is too small. There's a lot of whipsaw. You got to look at sometimes a little bit larger of a picture. 60-minute for a day trader, I'm I'll fall asleep looking at a 60-minute chart, deciding what to do. All right. I usually do trade live during these presentations. Somebody asked me here, can you see me trade live? Where is it here? I forgot who asked me that. All right, somebody asked me here, can we see you trade live and follow you? I usually do, and there's videos of me trading live in these webinars. I just didn't have a chance to do it this morning and set this up, especially with the internet and the storm that's out there right now. I want to, concentrate on showing you something instead of looking at a 15 lot trade and the internet going down. So for today, I didn't do a live, but usually I do during these webinars. I do live trading. All right, guys, have a good weekend. Email me. Remember, the coupon code there is limited offer, small discount, very small discount if you're interested. But if you're interested in any of the products, you save a little bit of money, a couple of dollars. Only good through this coming weekend here, next 3 days. Then I'll pull that coupon off. And email me any questions you have. Remember, July 25th, I'd like to see a nice group of traders, whether it's international or US based. We'll figure out a good class time. Usually it's twice a week, about an hour and a half each class, hour and a half each class. It's all recorded for you. If you can't make the classes, it's all recorded for you anyway. But email me if you have any questions, or feel free to call me. All right, any final questions, guys? And gals, I'm sorry, guys and gals. You got it. Jesus, absolutely. Absolutely. Sure thing, man. Are you in Miami or in Orlando area, Jesus? I think you're in Orlando, right, if I'm not mistaken? Oh, Miami Lakes. Okay, I got you. Yes, the reversals. Roadmap is great for reversals. Okay, this is gold. Let's take a look at, I'll show you what's happening in the E-mini before I let you guys go here. Oh, this is Euro. Not Euro, we want to see the E-mini. Okay. Okay, do you know where the market's going to end, or going to stop today? Where I don't want you guys to go long and the market's going to reverse? 1350. 1350, market's going to stop. It's going to trade up to 1350 today. It's going to reverse off of it. I am Francis, I believe. I think you asked me that. Cool. All right. This is the E-mini right here that I'm showing you. Okay. You got it, guys. Have a good rest of the week. Email me, call me. I look forward to seeing you guys at the next webinar or in the mentorship class starting July 25th. You can trade the mini Dow, absolutely, this card. Yeah, you can. Mini Dow's fine, the Dow Jones. Yeah. Let me put up the Dow Jones here. DJ, I believe, or the DJ. YM, I'm sorry. YM is the mini Dow, right? Okay, here's the mini Dow. If it's the YM, I think it's the YM. There's the mini Dow right there. Alright guys, I gotta run. I have a meeting I have to get to here, but I'm available by phone or by email. And my Skype is DayTradeToWin as well, so you can Skype me. Obviously not during trading hours because I'm trading, but feel free to, if you have any questions, you can also shoot me a Skype by DayTrade. DayTradeToWin is my Skype. Alright guys, bye bye now. Thanks.